I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. And hey, Rob, how are you?
Well, I'm good.
Yeah, we made it in time.
No, I'm 20 minutes late today. That's the way it goes. But yeah.
Hey,
So
Jason, do you want to give the big announcement?
which one?
The big announcement, everybody. We are no longer going to talk to anyone in the chat unless you give us money. Right?
Really?
Right, Jason?
Is
That's
that a
it.
thing?
If you don't give us super chats, we don't talk to you. Or Spreezy's putting the tennis shoe down. They're putting the racket on it. He's cutting them out.
When did this happen? Okay.
What?
Yeah.
We had an all OnlyFans meeting last night. Weren't you there? We're all hanging out on OnlyFans. One thing led to another, and we decided we're talking to you people too much. We're giving away too much around here. Oh, damn it!
I'll talk to Azatrue.
Yeah, well, Azatrue is an exception.
Azatrue says Avatar 2 can't be stopped. Cameron is cinema. Carano's new movie hits $804 at the box office.
That legitimately made me laugh.
Yeah. So today we got a little story. This one I just feel like it's a very obvious story at the same time. So I'm not like over the moon about it or anything, but it's also it's good to know something that I got a couple of confirmations on so far. So yeah, basically we're going to see the Loth-wolves in Star Wars Ahsoka.
Look, I don't want to. I'll let you do the whole thing.
Yeah. So one of Dave Filoni's inspirations for Ahsoka Tano was a character named San from Studio Ghibli's Princess Mononoke. The character San rides a wolf, as we can see over the years, Dave Filoni loves these fancy dogs and putting Ahsoka on one. And then I asked a very obvious dumb question: the tradition continues? That's the way I wrote it. And right here I show you a picture of Mononoke or San, I'm sorry, on the wolves. And then in 2022, Filoni was able to bring Ahsoka Tano to her own live action television series to be released in 2023. With the long history of Filoni and wolves and with Star Wars, it would seem a given that Filoni would bring the wolves into Star Wars Ahsoka in live action, and MSW sources have confirmed he did. And then here's a picture from Rebels. Sources on the Ahsoka project have told me that the effect is not unlike what they did with the Rise of Skywalker for the Orbaks. Since Orbaks are not real, horses had to be dressed up to play the creatures, just like elephants played banthas. The production of Ahsoka used real horses to stand in for the giant white wolf Ahsoka rides. This way, the motion of the actor and the feeling of being on something living translates to the screen and doesn't require the actor to simulate movements like Ewan McGregor had to do with the Eopies in some of the prequel films.
I like it when they simulate, Jason. Know what I'm saying? They just like,
Rosario Dawson.
Jason, you remember that movie?
Dave, you don't want me putting this out, do you, Dave? You don't want me putting this out. I know your tricks.
I just want you to know every morning I wake up to Hungry Like a Wolf. That's my favorite song.
We doing it, Dave? You singing it?
I'm on stealing Ghibli tunes. I'm on do. You want a wolf?
Okay, we did it, Dave.
Okay.
You are like Simon from Duran Duran. Have I ever told you that?
I'll take that.
He also wears the stupid fucking hat like you. Did you ever think about that? He does wear that stupid fucking hat you wear.
He's a polecat?
It's not really a fedora, but you guys are like one step away from fedoras, which makes everybody a little uncomfortable, I think.
I got a little secret for you, Jason. I'm gonna name my first kid Fedora. I think it's a beautiful name. Don't you think that's a beautiful name?
Fedora the Explorer.
Yeah, she go explore all around the back of Hollywood Boulevard. Who don't want to explore that?
Put it out there in the studio and let it just run loose all over Doug Chang's paintings. Finger painting with Doug Chang. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Hungry like a wolf.
Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka wears a white cloak, rides a horse, which will stand in for a large Star Wars-sized space dog. The results are supposedly pretty good. One source, there was talk of building a puppet like the wolf from the Neverending Story for the articulated head in some shots, but I never got it confirmed that they went that far with it, but I think they did. The
Like a really big version of Neverending Story, right?
Yeah, like the dog head, but like imagine it with this,
Yeah.
And this is a Filoni sketch from in between productions, in between like around the time when the Disney era was starting of her own one. I just thought it was maybe interesting though, because like look at the legs in the sketch. They look very much like a horse could do this structure.
So or a really long camel.
Right. Excuse me. I'm gonna get a cough again. I must be getting COVID part 2. I am under the impression
it's part D.
Part flu. I am under the impression it is specifically a Loth-wolf Ahsoka uses as a mount in some sequences of the series, as they say it is a giant wolf and the best connection we can make to established creature and Ahsoka. I know some of the moments with Ahsoka and her mount are action based, and some are just exposition in nature. And then, as we saw in the celebration photo, Filoni recreated the painting from the end of Rebels in live action. That painting shows Loth-wolves in it, so I assume that is the design we will essentially see in the series. But I can't help but wonder if that design translates well with the skeletal structure of a horse. But I guess it does, because look at in the picture, like look at the humans in that,
I know.
a little bit bigger than a horse,
It's ridiculous. I think they should also do like in Luke's room. He's got Macquarie's paintings, and Solo's got he's got one of those really weird looking Jar Jar Binks drawings that that were before they figured him out. I
like where you're going with this.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah. So a source said the wolf was nicknamed Doom. And that was like, they're calling it Doom. And if you know Star Wars, they don't know Star Wars. I do, kind of. But we know in Rebels, a wolf would appear to Ezra Bridger. The wolf was essentially an avatar of Kanan's will in the Force. Kanan's real name is Caleb Doom. So Doom. So in a way, Kanan is in the show from a certain point of view. If this is important or just an inside piece of minutia remains to be seen.
Question.
Yeah.
Kanan's real name is Caleb Doom, and there's a chick named Cara Dune.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And she's supposed to be from Alderaan.
You think Doom would be more of an Alderaan name given its fate, right?
I think it should be Caleb Dume. Dummy. But whatever.
Needs that little apostrophe. Right?
Yeah. So anyway,
whatever. So
is it minutia? I don't actually know. And then I just going to say that, with that we have Ezra, Sabine, Hera, and Kanan in the Ahsoka series, but still no word on Zeb. And then here's just a picture that Filoni put up.
Not the wolf. That's funny.
Yeah. He did this 2014 maybe. It was like a long time ago when he put that up.
I like his humor. I think I get Filoni a little bit. Showgirls.
Yeah.
Doggy chow. Oh, I used to love doggy chow. I used to love doggy chow too.
It's the fucking dumbest movie ever, dude. I was in the army when that shit came out, and we were all, and these are Joe's, right? Like Joe's like stupid shit, man. Maxim magazine, Fat Boy Slim,
Fat Boy Slim.
Pringles. I'm just telling you how it was, right? We like stupid shit. That fucking movie was a whole level of dumb, dude. We were like, we get these are all really pretty women, but what the fuck are we watching?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. And then just to be clear, I knew almost no matter what I was going to do, it was going to be confusing, but I didn't want to write a whole novel on it. But basically, they think they're calling him Doom, and I think it's I think it's an homage to Kanan. I just don't know if it's important. I don't know if they say it in the show. I don't know if she calls him, is it like Artex, are we going to see Artex die? It shouldn't be like Doom, I don't think so, because I think that would play really weird. So in my estimation, it's probably just a little piece of background behind the scenes trivia. Does that make sense?
It would be called B-Tex, but it's like TEKS, like tech, You know what I mean? BTAC.
Yeah, old BTAC.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, you know, the cynic in me. Like, when I saw in 1999, when I saw the Phantom Menace, you know, I enjoyed parts of it, didn't enjoy other parts of it, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
Figured he was rusty. But when I saw Mononoke, I'm like, this is what's missing from Star Wars, and not just the Japanese element, but
so
someone who's
did Dave Filoni, apparently, huh?
The problem is he just takes the aesthetic. Like I'm like, I get it's very easy with Miyazaki and Ghibli to say, oh, I like the music and I like the forests and the creatures, but what's missing is the real human tragedy behind shit. I mean, if you want to see the darkest version of that, go watch Grave of the Fireflies sometime.
Yeah.
Like it makes Chernobyl look like you know, fucking Ant-Man.
But you still, I mean, I think there are times, and probably stuff that you haven't watched, where he does sort of put some of that through the Star Wars ringer. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we're really ever going to get like that's that nuance, that like living in the moment to that extent that we
Sure.
get in the Studio Ghibli films. But I do think that I do think that he does bring that heartbreak to it sometimes. He has in the past, and but that's a fair thing though. That's a fair criticism to make, that like, you know, it's like you have to, what makes those movies ultimately work isn't just the aesthetic, right? That's
No,
like
it's
where you're going with it.
There are no scripts for those films. You know, whoever's directing the film storyboards the film. And when I say storyboards, they just draw the film out, right? On like storyboards, and they time it. They sit there with their timing and they write down the times or on the side. And that is literally the movie that gets made. Like, so it has to come from an extremely personal base. And in America, man, we just look at things like aesthetically. Like, oh, that's,
like,
I mean, look,
like Transformers
Lucas
2, but didn't have a script. They just went for it.
Or like, you know, in Lucas, when he looks at things and likes them, but like there's another deeper level, you know, like, and so I don't know, like I find it, I'm not against it and I'm not bitching, but it seems weird when you are, one could say that they courted Ghibli a little bit recently, right? With the little Sumi style, like Grogu thing, right?
Grogu and the pubic
I call
hair.
that a step in the pond, right? Like that's a first step. But when you do stuff like that, like it feels a little embarrassing to me. You know, you don't want to show up at, like, if I'm a big James Cameron fan, I don't want to also show him My Blue Alien fan fiction. You know what I mean? Like that's not quite the best thing to do. I feel the thing that's gotten the closest really to Ghibli were two of the Star Wars visions and it was the Lop one, right? Yeah. And the very last one with the dark one where it was like the Kurosawa bit with the two old guys, and then that bit at the end with the dark side chick who he turns to the dark side and gives in and shit. Like but none of that is still like at the level, you know. So I don't know, like it's just borrowing giant wolves. It's like, all right, I get it. Yeah. I just wish, you know, I don't know, man. I just wish there was more.
It starts with him in basing Ahsoka on that character from Princess Mononoke, and then in all during the first 6 years of the Clone Wars, he doesn't put her dumbass on a dog.
Rey was very much Nausicaa. So like the opening, what I love about the opening, The Force Awakens, is I'm like, she's literally got the Nausicaa mask. She's in this like desert area. Like I almost wish instead of the desert, it was like,
Who's Nausicaa?
Nausicaa is Princess of the Valley of the Wind. So it's the first anime that Ghibli did as a company, and Miyazaki directed through Ghibli. It's also a manga. Yeah. Took him like 12, 15 years to draw. He wrote and drew himself, no assistance. So I just did it, you know, periodically. For me, it's my Lord of the Rings. It's the fucking best thing that he's ever done. The actual manga is epic. It's dark, you know, but it deals with the world that is slowly decaying into like spores and miasma, and that's turning stuff into like sand and shit. And it goes way deeper. I'm like,
Anakin hates that. Don't put that in Star Wars.
I know. But like, and she has this cool glider and shit, but like you could look at that aesthetic and go, oh look, she's got a glider, she's got a little creature, and she flies around and helps animals, and like that that's what you see. That's like when people see Akira and they think Kaneda is Akira, the guy with the red jacket. Yeah, it's Akira, right? Like, no, that's not Akira. Yeah, it's about having a cool bike and a laser gun. You're like, no, that's not what Akira's about at all. But I can see how you get it. So I'm not, I mean, I get it. Like Star Wars it's Americana, like smash a few things together, get something out of it.
Smash Mouth.
I would just hope that there,
Walking on the Sun.
It goes a little deeper than that sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying everyone has to be like Tony Gilroy, but you got to pull something out.
Yeah, somebody once told you the world was going to roll you, not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah, I know that. I know. I'm stupid. Like, look at what I do for an hour every day, Jason. Like,
yeah,
this is not the sign of intelligence. So, whatever, man. But I appreciate a guy that's watching Ghibli films more than a guy who's sitting around going like, "Hey, did you watch fucking Top Gear? Look at this cool car. Let's put cool cars in Star Wars." Like, I get it, Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like every Star Wars is always borrowing. Star Wars owes everybody a couple of bucks, right? In terms of in the creative field, like it's always doing it. And so I'm with you in the sense that like, I'm like, yeah, you do need those, like some of the best moments from The Force Awakens are the moments that are like that, where Rey is making Rey bread and riding sleds down fucking sand and just like living her fucking moments, and like you do need that. And I'm hoping that the Ahsoka series does play into that in some way, but I think it's going to play more. I think what he's doing from the sounds of things, he's playing more into samurai films with it. And then he's taking some of that aesthetic, not from samurai films, but from the wolves and shit from the animated stuff that he likes. But we'll see. I'm almost like right now just knowing a couple of other things I don't want to get into, but that he's drawing from. It's sort of like this is like what George Lucas did for the original A New Hope. This is sort of like Filoni's doing all of that with this for him and his generation this time. So I'm interested to see.
I'll take this.
Could be dumb
over whoever opened up that 60s catalog and pulled out the Vespa bikes. You know what I mean? Like I get it. You know what I mean? I just wish that when you invoke it, you're also attempting to pull from the lesson that was learned with that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, more
than just, I'll be inspired. I hate using that word swipe because it's such bullshit. But being inspired by something or whatever. Like,
yeah. There's a intellectual copyright holders have really molested our brains into thinking that somebody invented riding a wolf and it being giant. You know what I mean? Like in reality.
I had a friend go, "Hey."
The comedy is that Disney will probably go after somebody for putting a giant wolf on something one day.
I had a friend go to me, go, "Hey man, Cameron's putting fire people in his movies. He's stealing Avatar. He's stealing everything." I'm like,
yeah.
You obviously never watched The Hidden Fortress with the fire dance and all that shit. Like, you don't know anything about you know what I mean? I guess Avatar invented the Fire Clan. That never existed before that cartoon.
I saw Avatar in the movie theater. The Avatar: The Last Airbender in the movie theater. He could do whatever he wants. They had their shot.
Can Cameron also like swipe making little 8-year-olds cry when the movie sucks so bad like that film did? Because I watched an 8-year-old boy bawl his eyes out at how bad that fucking movie was.
I was just like, somebody got the rights to this and they just wanted to make it. They didn't care how they made it. But yeah, that shit sucked. It sucked really bad. I don't know what happened to M. Night. It's pretty amazing to me. I mean, at the moments of that guy showing like real talent and inspirational genius, and then the next second, like just being completely like fucking off. You know what I mean? It's really weird. He's one of the weirdest filmmakers, one of the most inconsistent filmmakers of our generation, I would say. But yeah, but I mean, like I said, the story, I felt like it was a huge given, but it's a confirmed given. I was able to confirm they got the horse down there. They did all, run around with it, horses doing tricks, all kinds of stuff. So And and like KG says, like the video, you savages, please. I would appreciate it if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I realized I did not upload the podcast yesterday. I'll do all of them today, I promise. And but the podcast versions of this are available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, all that jazz, Stitcher, I believe, all that shit. So, but but we got more Star Wars news today. And this comes from Bespin Bulletin. Have you ever heard of him?
I just love the trolling with the pic. That's the best.
Hey, I love that Pikachu. I don't really like the movie very. I actually bought.
I agree.
I didn't see it in the theaters. I just bought it for the kids one day. I was like, yeah, Pikachu. And
we went to the theaters. Took my wife. All that, like no, like the Pikachu. I like it when they actually were just in a Pokemon fight. Mm-hmm. Everything else is so fucking. That movie's so weird, dude. Like, they have this chick who, like, how do I say this, man? Like, she starts doing this 1930s news on the march. She's doing like the Catherine, you know what I mean? Like the what's her from Aviator?
Like Clone Wars? War, transatlantic.
Yeah, hey everybody, we're talking like this now. I'm a snap ace reporter. You're like, what the fuck movie are we in, man? Like,
here's the problem. It's these Pokemon, see?
I mean, I love stupid shit. I love stupid shit, but that fuck, I'm like, look, man, if you make a Pokemon movie, just fucking make a Karate Kid with the fucking pet. Like, this is not hard, Like, they talk about a movie that overthought its whole. No one said, "Hey, man, I want Pikachu to solve mysteries." Like, no, I want them to fight fucking other Pokemon and win tournaments. Like, that's, come on, what are we doing?
Want to hear the intro for my film? You hear a heart monitor. Iris out. Emergency room. Doctor says you got to cut him open. They cut open. Camera pans up. Richard Gere. Camera pans down. They're pulling Pikachu out of Richard Gere's ass.
Jesus, Jason, that's a lot of effort for for a 30-year-old joke.
Right? I know. I saw it visually, though. Visually. It was all there, man. It was all there.
Holy shit.
And it was like
nobody but like Jedi and Mike's gonna get that fucking joke. You know what I mean? Like Spreezy's like, what? Who's Richard Gere?
Who's Richard Gere, mate?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No,
the funny thing about Richard Gere is
urban legend. Richard Gere did not put a gerbil in his ass.
No, it was debunked. We had to actually look that one up. But funny thing, man. He, Christopher Reeve was stuck in what do you call that? Typecast hell, right? After Superman, couldn't get no work. So he goes to Paramount, and his buddy old Michael Eisner's still running that joint, right? At the time. And he's complaining about the whole deal.
Right.
And Eisner goes, look, man, I got a movie right now. You can do it right now. We lost the lead, but I need you to start Monday. This is like Thursday. And Christopher Reeve goes, I can't prepare for a film by Monday. It's like, man, movie's ready to go. And Christopher Reeve turned it down. That was American Gigolo. He turned down American Gigolo. And it's like, that could have changed the course of Christopher Reeve's entire career. Right there.
Yeah. But then again,
right there, because he didn't want to,
and he couldn't prepare.
So go unprepared. Fucking, what are you doing, man? Like, you sitting here. You can't be like, Jason, you can't be like, hey, I ain't getting no shots. And then here's your shot. Well, it's not convenient. Like, that's not how it works. Like, I have a personal saying, opportunities arrive at inopportune times.
Yeah.
Like it never lines up perfectly, So
I say, don't ride horses. That's what I say.
Well, that's the other lesson. I'm on a fucking horse. My wife hates me for it. Don't get on giant wolves. Break your fucking back.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, unless you got back to tanks, then it doesn't matter.
I kind of wouldn't mind watching Rosario Dawson galloping on a horse.
That's why I said, Felonious was like, did you see Opportunity Knocks? Remember that movie with
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah. It was like in a Target or something, like, right? Yeah, I remember that. That was great.
Oh yeah.
You know, I know what you're doing, Filoni.
Every time I walk in a Target, I just think, ooh, this needs a little horsey ride. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Okay, I love that movie.
Yeah.
So You know,
that came out at puberty, and it's burned into my brain forever.
Goddamn right.
All right. So Bespin Bulletin reports writing and producing partners Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit. Is it Samit? Is that how you say it? Samit? Are reportedly working on an unannounced Star Wars project with Lucasfilm, according to Deadline. Hernandez and Samit are probably best known for writing the Detective Pikachu movie, which was released in 2019 along with 2021's The Addams Family 2. Me and my daughter liked The Addams Family 1. We went and saw Addams Family 2. And we're like, this shit sucks. Anyways, in addition to those film projects,
it's not going well.
the duo also contribute to a lot of television products or productions, including Central Park, The Tick, and most recently Koala
Like
Man,
The
to
Tick.
name a few.
The live action Tick was really Jason. You got to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen. I was against it. I was like, I don't want to watch. I fucking love The Tick. I'm tired. I don't want to. But I'll say this: like, they nail the fucking weirdness of The Tick down perfect, and then like the violence gets incredibly like violent, like kick-ass violent. So it's just like when he shows up with that voice, and everyone else is like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, it's just as weird as you would think it would be, you know? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like, let's so Deadline. So this is Bespin Bulletin. Deadline shared no additional details on the mysterious Hernandez and Samit project, but last week, as it was reported by Production Weekly, that another Star Wars live action series for Disney Plus was in development and was being executive produced by the Mandalorians Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. The series is codenamed Ghost Track 17. A reference to hidden tracks on musicians' albums, and more than likely a reference specifically to the hidden 17th track of the Beatles album, Abbey Road, named Her Majesty. Given the involvement of Favreau and Filoni, it's more than likely that the Ghost Track series is related to the Mandoverse, which features The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and Skeleton Crew. However, it remains to be seen if the Hernandez Samit project and Ghost Track 17 are one and the same.
Oh.
So like yesterday
I like twins.
Yesterday, Reddit started going, Bespin Bulletin says that it's the same. Whereas he literally writes, however, it remains to be seen if the Hernandez Samit project and Ghost Track 17 are one and the same.
Tell me the internet doesn't read, Jason. You know what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, he asked me, he was like, did I fuck that up? And
no,
or, in a nicer way, he said that. And I said, hey, I'll read it as if I hate your guts. And I read it and I said, the only thing is that you put the you reiterated at the end, and these people are dumb. So what can you do?
Yeah. Elmo shrug. Elmo shrug, right?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what you can do about that. I mean, I read till the end and you say it. So
I want to be fair though. I want to be pretty fair with these cats, right? And I hate when people say the last thing I did is like indicative of the next thing I'm going to make, right? Marcus and McFeely, the guys that wrote all those Infinity War films and Winter Soldier, the stuff that a lot of cats really love, right? In the Marvel Universe, they did all those Narnia movies. And they did Thor in the Dark World. You know what I mean? Which a lot of people, would say is probably the worst of the Marvel films. So like, it doesn't, it doesn't really, you take the gigs you get and you make the best out of them, and I don't think the writing was necessarily bad on the Pokemon movie. I just think the whole take was a dumb fucking idea. And I don't think that had anything to do with them. When that Pokemon Go shit took off that day, remember when the whole world was playing Pokemon Go for like a week?
That was fun.
Yeah, I remember that. And
did you ever see those fucking cops that didn't answer their cop calls because they were trying to find a Charizard or something?
Yeah, that's so weird. That happened.
Years later, they got fired for it.
One day they get fired for that, but not for killing black children. Whatever. So it just shows you how the system's set up.
Yeah, but they gotta catch them all. That's the whole thing. So.
Good one, Jason. Good one. But it's the Rob Show. All right, everybody. Now that Jason's gone, let's talk about Avatar. I'm going to open up the Avatar script, and we're going to read some Avatar script. Not the Avatar 2. We're going to read script from Avatar 1. All right, okay. We're going to have Filoni do it for you. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Wait. Is he back? Oh, I got to get in. Some Rob Show time. All right.
Sorry, I saw a Geo.
Oh, damn it.
I saw a Geo, dude.
I gotta have that Avatar script ready to go next time you drop out. I'm gonna start. I'm just letting people know when Jason drops out, we're reading Avatar.
Right.
But yeah. So we went and got the rights to the movie like instantly, Legendary.
Mhm.
But Game Freak, right? I think it's Game Freak or the Pokemon company. The Pokemon company, they make these series of Detective Pikachu games, and that was like the next game they had coming out, you know.
Okay.
And so they were like, it's got to be based on Detective Pikachu, which is like, so they're like, oh, all right. You know, I would have been like, fuck no, man. Just fucking don't do it. You know, like better to have no Pokemon movie than one you just forget ever came out. And let's be honest, people forgot that movie came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so. But what I will say, so when it comes to those guys, like you were saying, like, you know, what the last thing that somebody did is not, you know, the totality
Indicative of the next thing you're going to make.
Yeah, of the next thing. And just because they made that one thing once well doesn't mean that they're going to make the next thing well. Like, it's always like a big what the fuck. But when I look at Detective Pikachu, I see like an amalgamation of live action and CGI work that was pulled off. The movie did come out. I assume it came out on time and in budget. So you have like
Legendary does good. They're really good with that.
And like
it looked good too.
So you know what I mean, you have them on a project where it fucking worked. Like it did. Like it did what it was supposed to do.
Well, they also understand licensing, like how to work within a giant, you know, critical framework. And anytime you're working on a story that has a licensor
with rules
and a whole fucking committee and expectations and random people you're never going to meet weighing in on shit, you know, like you got to be able to know how to navigate that system.
Got the Nintendo bros breathing down your neck. Right. Yeah. No, it makes sense. And so you have that. Then people always misunderstand that Star Wars has so many comedic beats. And when you look at the comedy stuff that they've done, there's that connection there. Then you have their connections to animation, which once again, we know between George Lucas and Dave Filoni, people from coming out of animation tend to somewhat thrive in that environment. But
let's be honest though, Jason, the best comedy in Star Wars is brought by actors on set, not in the writing of Star Wars. Let's be honest. Let's show me one joke written in Star Wars that played well on screen. You know,
mouse droid rolls into frame and Chewbacca growls.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that noise that Ben Burr did, no one would care about the mouse droid.
You know, it's yeah. Well, I mean, the point is that fans take this shit so seriously they lose track of that. And I mean, if I hear one more fucking person defending the fucking Lego guys and then acting like this is crazy, this is not unlike the Lego guys. I'm just gonna say I'm not. It's not unlike it. I said it's not. I didn't say it was what it was saying. I said on. But if you were to checkbox it, it's not unlike it spec wise. In terms of
I hear what you
and the Lego guys got fired.
Yeah, but everyone gets fired. I mean, Gareth Edwards got fired, essentially. You know, I mean, Rian Johnson got fired. If you think about it, from episode 9,
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's as if we're gonna make your Lego guy analogy, I'm gonna tell you Rian Johnson got fired as well.
If I go in and I take an analogy to make a fact, then all of a sudden I reported that Rian Johnson was fired from episode 9, which I'm not reporting. So
definitely not reporting that.
Not reporting.
I'm
not saying that.
What? I think he was.
Yeah, probably.
I don't agree with it, but you know.
Yeah, no, obviously.
You know what's funny about that? I have a good buddy of mine, who can't stand The Last Jedi, right? Fucking hate it when it came out. He's one of those guys that just is like, oh, it's horrible, it's the worst ever, blah 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 blah. But now, after the Knives Out 1 and 2, right? He's like, you know, they just let him get his own trilogy. I think he'd probably be pretty like there's this expectation after that film, the Force Awakens, that it just didn't line up for some folks, you know. But if even that guy can come around, I'm telling you, like the average Star Wars fan can too. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, a problem I've noticed that I've learned from watching Star Wars and Willow is like is what happens is there's characters who can be sarcastic and make jokes, right? But there's a problem that arises when the character wasn't necessarily funny originally, but their role has changed in the ensemble, such as Willow. Like in the original film, Willow's a straight man, and everybody else, Mad Mardigan is funny. The brownies are funny. The fucking talking like muskrat is funny. All of that stuff but it's not. Willow is the straight man. Then you get to the modern Willow, and then now he's not necessarily our main character, even though it's still called Willow. And he's the supporting cast, and he's supposed to be funny. He's not, but he's supposed to be funny. And it doesn't really translate well for me at all. It doesn't work, but also he doesn't work in those roles. But you see what I'm saying, right? And like it's the same thing with like Luke Skywalker, where everybody else is sort of like sardonic and funny, and he's very earnest. But then when we get to the Last Jedi, Rey's earnest, and he's not Ernest P. Willard, but Ernest, and so it's like completely like some people had a hard time with it, and I don't think you should have had a hard time with it in The Last Jedi, but I can understand why they did from my experience with Willow. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I want to clarify a few things. So Joel says Ryan didn't get fired from episode 9. He didn't want to do it. He got fired from his own trilogy, most likely. Joel, I want to explain to you something that Jason has talked about here.
Me?
About behind the scenes, right? That basically Rian Johnson was ready to be on a plane to be shipped out to go get that movie done. But Michelle Reserwan was able to get JJ and get that movie done on the time, right? Like, basically.
The rumor was that Ryan, they were talking about flying Ryan out to Pinewood to strike sets, keep sets, and stuff like that, and to start getting shit ready to go. And then somewhere over the course of that happening that weekend or whatever, Reserwan pulled a JJ out and said, "Hey, let's put rock music in Willow and put you in 9. Fuck Lucasfilm."
Yeah.
And no, I'm kidding.
Let's also let's clarify this one too. Ivan aggressively says Ivan Kershner was brutally fired after The Empire Strikes Out with fans. That didn't happen either. Irvin turned down Return of the Jedi, right?
He was burned out, but
he turned it down.
Yeah, he was burned out, and he was. Yeah, he says that he wishes he was offered Return of the Jedi, but he says after seeing it, he wishes he had taken the movie. So that was like his dig at the movie, which I thought was kind of mean, but whatever.
No, that's right.
No, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he was like on the set with Richard Marquand and Lucas.
Richard Marquand might still be alive if Richard Marquand hadn't made that movie. He was incredibly depressed on the making of that film.
Yeah,
it did not do Richard Marquand any favors. Making Return of the Jedi.
Didn't he just have a heart attack though?
Stress, bro.
Heart attack.
Stress. Yeah. I can't prove it, but
can't prove it. Okay.
I can't prove anything.
There was a rumor, it's probably unfounded, but that Richard Marquand's son was going to direct on the live action Star Wars Underworld television show. That never happened, but that
Stewie Kershner?
No, I can't remember what his name was. It was like a normal name, like Doug or Kevin Kershner.
Stewie's not a normal name?
Not Kershner. You're saying Kershner. Marquand.
Marquand.
Richard Marquand's son.
Okay. I'm not going to make fun of that. Kershner, I can.
Yeah.
I like Kirsch, but.
Yeah, Kirsch was crazy.
Kush. He made that movie with Michael. Was it Michael Caine? What was it with the drag? It was it's a cool fucking film, dude. But
wait, you're talking about Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
No. Hold on, I'll get it.
That had Valorum in it. Chancellor Valorum was in that one. Pretty good movie.
Aaron Sam.
Yeah.
Zod.
Yeah. AKA Chancellor Valorum. But yeah. But anyways, what I'm saying is when you look at
Laura Mars, that's what I'm thinking of.
Detective Pikachu, and you just look at all of these little elements here about what they've worked on, which is an IP based. It came out Family 2. They brought that. It came out. They got it done. The fucking Tick. You have animation. You have live action. You have all of these components of Star Wars that those creators worked on, and all of these things are part of the equation to successfully make. So I can see why they were offered something. But the big question I have for you, Rob, is in your estimation, are they doing it? Are they doing the next Star Wars cartoon or potentially doing the next Star Wars cartoon? Are they doing a television show? Are they doing a movie? Just based off of what you hear from these guys in this, and they're doing stuff with Disney as well. That's the other thing to throw onto this, which makes me think it's not a film. It makes me think
it's TV.
That it's there's too much there, and
it's TV.
Like I'm just doing just basic dumb math, and I'm like, you probably won't get more than 3 seasons of Bad Batch, just my guess. And by the time they write something and it gets produced and then released, Bad Batch will likely be done, even if it gets a 3rd season. And so this may be the next generation of cartoons.
Maybe. I think it's TV. But...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Of animated. You think it's live action television? What you think it is?
Yeah. I mean, it might be animation. I mean, that's a good. The thing is I rarely do you see people who write for live action brought into animation. I mean, it does happen. Like Kevin Smith, writing He-Man and bringing all those guys. It does happen. It's just that generally speaking, there's so many people they can pull from animation that already understand the process. Like so.
But it's
a little weird.
Koala Man is animation, right? So like they're doing.
Is that? I didn't know.
Yeah, I
haven't seen Koala Man.
I think it's the guy. What's his name? From Rick and Morty, the guy who does that, and I think it's his new animated.
No, it is. It is. It is animation. Then you got me on that. Maybe it's stupid looking cartoon. It's fine.
Yeah.
So
no, but
fucking American cartoons.
So these guys are. So it's like it could really be anything because these guys are in film, they're in live action television, and
you got me here. I have no clue now.
So yeah, it's like a hard read. The Ghost Track connection is it's circumstantial at best. Just because we like started talking about.
It's a Force Ghost show, Jason.
It's a what?
It's a Force Ghost show.
Force Ghost show? That's possible.
Yeah.
That's what Taika should have made, the Force Ghost show. That would have been funny. But what do you call it?
Oh no.
Oh shit.
We're gonna do Force Ghost Hooker. It's gonna be William Shatner as a Force Ghost cop, Jason.
All right. Yeah.
I like how he's a cop, but his name is Hooker. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was like Filoni. I was like the hookers on Night Court when I was a kid. I was like, man, and then I really saw a hooker one time, and I was like, oh no, they
ain't the same.
They just look like they wasn't what Night Court promised at all.
No, most of life ain't what Night Court promised, Jason. I found out the hard way. I'm from the streets.
Yeah, you are. You are from the
streets. Like Agora Hills.
I'm going to say this world needs less Darth Maul and more Richard Maul. How about that?
Maul, but very close. I like it. I know. I'm the guy correcting names now, but yeah, I do like it. I do. It needs more Richard Maul. I like it.
And thank you, Darth Maximus.
Although
Maximus says, like the video. Thank you for being a channel member. And same thing with Mr. Patrick Boyle. Evening. Thank you for being a channel member. I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody who supports the channel. It means a lot. Like
hey, you can support it by liking the fucking episode. 62 people.
Whoa. Come on.
What?
I was trying to beat up everybody in the show, dude. I mean, it's just
no, I love you. You're my best friends.
But,
yeah.
And hey, Tyrant. He says more Richard Marks. we're just going to Richards now.
Oh yeah. Richard Mole did not make a good Highlander villain though. Remember the pilot for the Highlander series? He played the bad guy.
Was he like the
that? He had a trick sword, Jason. He had like the hilt and the sword dropped out smoke pellets or something like it could gash you.
Yeah. They should really let what's his name just play like a really like the Kurgan, the actor. Clancy Brown. He played the Zabrak bad guy. I think, or not the Zabrak.
The devil guy. The
devil guy. In Mando. When Mando's old gang, and when he meets his old gang. But I love that Clancy Brown's great, and it would just be cool. I don't know if he's like past his sword fighting years, you know what I mean? Because he's like in his 60s now, I think. But
he would have done well as though. Mm-hmm. He would have done well as the guy who wrangled the remnants of the Empire into an order. You know what I mean? Like a guy who just brutally forced it under his will. He's the kind of guy that could pull that one off. You know, like you buy it.
And he played Savage Opress in Clone Wars. He played the Horn guy in Mando. Like, you know, but let's give him a Kurgan, man. Let's give him a Kurgan size role. I say
He should play a wolf.
Yeah.
Big old wolf, like a big what?
Yeah.
By the way, I've been listening to "Hungry Like a Wolf" on repeat since the show started.
No.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I know you do. But yeah. Anyways, though, so those guys, those guys, the Detective Pikachu guys, I'm interested to see what they do. I don't really love anything that they've done, though.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie there. I do own Detective Pikachu, but I don't really like it.
No, this seems more like a jobber thing. So, you know, they probably have an idea and they're looking for people that they're friendly with and can work, and they're super excited and they get shit done. And, you know, I'm usually that guy, so I get it, you know? So sounds like my career. But yeah, I don't know. It is odd though, man. Like with Star Wars, you'd think you could just pull from the best talent available you could imagine. And when they do that, they fire them. Like it seems odd. Maybe we get 32 episodes of the Bad Batch, whether we want it or not. You know, it just never fucking stops. Like,
yeah, if it's like what we've gotten already, it's gonna be a pitch. They had a good pitch on something that they could bring to life and is good, and that's what it would take. But unless it was like, you know, they hired them to make something, but I don't think that's what this probably is. This sounds, based off of the fact that it's like how it's coming out of Deadline and that they're coming as a duo and everything, makes me think that they came into Lucasfilm with a pitch for a show, a cartoon, or a movie, and they
oh no, I have it. I have it, Jason. I was talking to them about doing a Detective Papanoida film.
Yeah.
And I figured, hey, yeah. I get to solve crimes like Rehan and Benoit Blank. I don't know, you know, like I want to be a detective in Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna solve whatever happened to the script. You know, for all these films. Where are they?
Where is it?
Where is it?
When George Lucas is bagging on your scripts, guys, you know you're fucked up.
You know, that's the truth. All right, well, I gotta go eat. All right. Okay. I'm a diabetic.
Star Wars Santa, he does a predictions game for the Bad Batch, and really quickly on the show, I'm gonna do my predictions. Fat Boss sends the Bad Batch on a mission. Yep. We visit Ord Mantell. Nope.
I say yes.
Batch, you say yeah?
I'm not watching the show, but I say they do.
The Bad Batch visits a new planet. First time in animation? Sure, why the fuck not? I think
why you seem really interested in this show.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?
Hunter goes stealth mode. Yep, that's all he does. Yep, that's all he does. Take it, Stucky. Yep. Echo has a new attachment or enhancement. Ooh, I'm gonna say no, just because why not? Omega fires her crossbow. Yeah, what else you gonna do? Fucking talk.
That sounds brilliant.
Someone is killed. Nah, probably not.
Never.
Someone is stunned by a blaster. Probably a bunch of times,
including the audience.
Their ship crashes or is in need of repairs. I'm just gonna say no because that shit's boring right now. The Bad Batch or fight or wrestle with a monster or creature. Yeah, probably. The Emperor and a Vader appears or is referred to by name. Nah. Bounty hunters pursue the batch. You know, they kind of came out of hiding, kind of didn't. I'm just gonna say no. A named clone will talk with the batch. Yeah, I think this is probably one where it happens. A droid is referred to by name. This is Gonky. Nah. A light side force suit. Nope. Something happens in at Mount Den. Nah, nothing happens there either. Crosshair talks with the batch. Nah, he doesn't talk. He's mad. All right, we could predict something, Rob.
I will not watch it.
Okay. Rob will not watch
it.
Watch this episode but later in life discovers he loves the Willow series. Weird, right?
Well, I got that prediction wrong. That's for
Weird,
certain. Still can't even get our joke predictions right. You know, horrible at this game.
Yeah, but yeah,
I just don't get this whole idea, Jason. This whole thing. I get you all love it. You love it because you got nothing else.
I'm lukewarm on it. It's I was interested in it because it appeared to be a sequel to the Clone Wars, but it does not have any of the, it doesn't feel like the Clone Wars or like it's a continuation of it. And when I got Tales of the Jedi a couple weeks ago, months ago now, I don't know. When I got that, I was like, oh, this feels way, way better to me than and closer to the Clone Wars, original Clone Wars stuff. Even like the later Clone Wars stuff, I don't like it as much as the early Clone Wars stuff. There's just a big difference between Lucas being involved and not. There just is. And but when it comes to this show or whatever, I'm rooting for it. I hope it gets good, or I hope like something intriguing happens. But the opening was a bad opening, and it was just fine, 2 good, normal, average episodes. Nothing like to complain about. But it was for like here's an opening. We're starting the new season. Everybody get excited. No, that was not exciting. It was a bad opening. So yeah, we'll have to see like if it gets better, if it gets more intriguing or not.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm not really optimistic, but also some of the best Star Wars ever was in the Clone Wars and you never saw it, so you're messing up.
And I could tell you this ain't at that level, so you know, like
it's not. A sad wolf, a hungry sad wolf. But
there is no reason for this show.
Why there is no reason why
these cartoons when they can make anything they want and they make this shit like
yeah.
It's banal, boring. Don't know why it's lasting 32 fucking episodes. No fucking clue. You know what I mean?
I was today because my son's at that age now where he's getting obsessed with anime. So like as been telling you, we've been watching My Hero and stuff like that. And I'm like, if Lucasfilm just went in and made a real anime series about Jedis and the Jedi Order, like My Hero, where the kids go to school. Yeah, money, buckets of money.
Just let the anime studio figure out all the visuals and shit, and you know what I mean. Give us a real Japanese audio soundtrack. You can do your American shit, but give me the option because I don't want American voice actors. I don't want to listen to them.
No, I say just go full anime, and I say drop all of the pretentious Star Wars Vision shit with it, and just fucking do a real modern Naruto fucking styled fucking Star Wars thing. Yeah. And lean into it and let it be canon, but let it be.
Imagine if that last the Ninth Jedi was a whole series. Could you imagine, Jason?
But it has to be like I think they're called I'm no anime expert, but I think they're called like shonen. Shonen is like the style of I think if you do that, young, probably a boy, but it doesn't matter. And then like young person with very superficial love interest. And,
you know what it could be? It could be a droid who has to go to a human Jedi school. You know what I mean? Like that, like the little droid boy. Little guy.
He's having a hard time.
Little Gungan guy. Give me a little Gungan kid.
The little Pinocchio. But but I mean, I like once again, love. I love Visions. I'm not like shitting on Visions, but that's not how you get kids involved and getting these CGI cartoons. They're not. I love the Clone Wars, but they're not doing it. I watched The Bad Batch with my 9-year-old, and he was just like, it's just kind of like, I don't hate this, but this isn't very good. This isn't.
No, it's artistically, it's dog shit. I can't begin to tell you people like this. The look of these things were done 10 years ago. I get you all like it because you're 30 something years old and you grew up with this stuff and you love it. But I'm just telling you, man, like this is not exciting for kids. Like this was done a long time ago. I mean, when I had to put fucking CGI Clone Wars Yoda with Anakin, some homework fucking jokes 10 years ago, the look was already waning. We had to do a lot of work on those shirts to make it, pop for kids.
Yeah.
So like you compare, and you're right, you compare any of this stuff for kids, right? We're saying for kids. You compare any of this stuff with My Hero, man, a kid's gonna watch My Hero, dude. It's not even close. Like,
Yeah.
You're out of touch if you think otherwise,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, you just could look at that and it would be so simple. It's not hard to write. It doesn't have to be complex. It's just a kid becoming a Jedi in the Jedi Order, going on missions, being inadequate with not being able to pull off things, being unsure of themselves, and then overcoming. That's all it is, over and over again, and it's fun. And it would satiate that audience, because like that was one of the things I was talking about in Santa's show today. Is I'm like, when you watch like the Bad Batch, there's not that moment where kids get that dopamine rush of like, I am powerful, like the He-Man, I have the power, and like there's none of that happens in that show. You feel disempowered. There's no lightsabers. You're not a Jedi. You get the she fires the thing. It doesn't have it, and it's it could. I believe that it could be a good show, or it is a good show at times, but that's not doing.
But these people can't get the idea that Grogu in a mech suit is cool, Jason. You know what I mean?
But it's like functionally what the cartoons are supposed to do is give us another medium to experience Star Wars, but also to bring in younger audiences into it. But it only brings in a younger audience into it, generally speaking, right now, in as much as that it just any mass media animated thing will, not because it's like something that's really special or like really catchy, And
Right.
so yeah, I would love to see them do something like that, and I hope they do. I hope they
step
do.
back. They need to step back away from the control. Like that's the biggest thing I gotta say. They don't step back. Like they. Maybe like we let them animate. Rob, you don't know. Like you have some source to go. He doesn't know. We let them animate whatever they want. Yeah, until they hand you the script. You know what I mean? And you're like, we don't like that. Or don't put this in. That doesn't. No one would pick up a blaster and do that. Like, just stop with.
No,
you got some
all they have to do
tenants.
is just don't make it the one where Plagueis comes back. If the writers aren't doing shit like that and just exist in that world, then they wouldn't have any problems with it. It's only like, and it's only when it's the problems arise when they like try to break the rules of established Star Wars like physics and lore and stuff like that. That's when it gets more complicated. And like with anime, you'd have to give that stylistic license, but then you have to be able to be like, okay, this is canon and this happened like this, but does it translate to reality? If it was just a live action movie, yeah, okay, that could happen then. But can the Jedi jump into space with a lightsaber and cut apart the Death Star? No, I can't do that. Like that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be rocket science, does it? But
and they just, there's a quirky sense of humor that animators see a lot of times in animation, especially out in Japan and stuff. Like you have a director, and then like they don't really write the script. They hand off like scenes and shit. Like they sort of like they'll hand out, and it gets animated, and then it comes back and you assemble the bit. So there's bits in those animation that's not written down. The animators kind of conjured it up. So you get this quirky little stuff. Here, everything's about the writer has to write it. And you're like, you're supposed to write, like in My Hero, when that kid's like, when he's sitting there like drooling over his action figures and shit, that's not something you write. The animator does that, or the manga guy, and whoever drew the manga, right? He writes and draws his own manga. Like they're doing the visual first and adding the words after because of the sheer volume of work. And here it's done the other way. And I'm like, that, I don't know about that, like I think the formula that they've come up with has just producing a lot of banal bullshit. Like the forgettable stuff. I think bad is better than forgettable. Forgettable is just a waste of time. Like
for me though, like when it's just so very average, if it was going and it was doing Star Wars at what Star Wars does best, which is like Jedi and like you're able to like have the Force and stuff like that.
That's what
It's
you
th-
think, but
it's-
I would agree. Most
well,
people would agree with that. Yeah.
it's that mixed with but when you do like the Bad Batch, which is the show has its hands tied with that. They're not Jedi. They're just like these troopers. So it has to, by its very nature, stay away from what makes Star Wars fun. And if it was leaning harder onto the A-Team stuff, it would probably work better. But I don't think it's a good A-Team.
Well, let me explain. When I say bad is better than forgettable, bad could mean like you really had a good idea, you just couldn't execute. You were trying for something specific, maybe it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Forgettable to me means you never were able to decide what you were going to do, so you were trying to do a little bit of everything. It's like a fucking buffet.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really impressed with the buffet. You're just impressed with the amount of shit you can get from a buffet.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I don't like that. I want to try, maybe it was a bad.
One time I had 5 cheesecakes out of a buffet. That was
See what I mean? It's always quantity, and we're getting plenty of quantity with Bad Batch. Fuck this. This is ridiculous. It's just you tune it right out. You tune it out.
Yeah.
But I do agree, man. If they had done like a Naruto series set like in the High Republic, you know what I mean? And like they were like, and no one ever had High Republic books and shit like that, right? They just let some anime studio figure out what that was going to be and just go make some fucking new shit. You know what I mean? So we don't have to worry about lore and timing everything up,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, like that.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where when they go to do these cartoons in the future, they should, set it in a time like now that the High Republic though is being established in terms of look and stuff like that. If they want to do a cartoon series, do it 20 years before everything that we start with, and then just let it go.
I don't even know when the Ninth Jedi is set. You know what I mean? So it's that's what I'm saying. Like you just set it whenever.
Yeah,
but the problem is these fans
would go crazy though if you said there's a Star Wars show we don't know when it's set. We're not telling you. Then we would lose our fucking minds.
Well, it doesn't matter when you could say we'd set 1,000 before. They wouldn't even. They would just be pissed that they're not getting. We had a real problem, not just with Star Wars, but with Marvel and every other fandom based nonsense. Motherfuckers just want cameos. They want to know how something with these characters they don't know ties into something that they know. It's a real problem. I'm tired of hearing about it. Like the second fucking, a Batman movie comes out, it's like, oh, well, how does this tie into Green Lantern? Is Hal Jordan gonna appear? Is fucking when's Entry and the Demon gonna show up? Like, shut up, dude.
Which ties into people that are like, I won't go see a movie unless I know it's gonna have 3 sequels. And it's like, why? Why can't you just enjoy a movie?
Yeah. Inception has no sequels. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, my favorite movie of last year was probably After Sun. I don't want it After Sun 2. Doesn't need one. It doesn't need one. It's fine. You could just
so the second you come out of the cartoon, everyone's gonna be like, how is this tie into Omega? When is Thrawn gonna show up? Is this fucking Boba Fett's cousin to this? Who stop with this stupid shit? Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. And that it's okay. It's okay when things organically get there if they do, but they don't always need to. I do. I mean, I'm guilty of like I like the living universe. I do like the idea that like Mando and Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka are all taking place at the same time, and characters can interweave. And we are getting like when you get down to it, we're getting like a show that does like 30 episodes a year or 24 to 30 episodes a year. Like a big show in actuality spread over 3 different names. Like I'm cool with that. I like that. But it just doesn't have to always be that way. You know what I mean? Like
Revenge. Hold on, I gotta address it. Revenge Guy. I watch Double Toasted more than I watch Campia. All right, so like I turn on Campia when they got something to like. What do you say? Like when he's like Avatar news, I'll listen to that. But I don't. I'm not. It's a show's boring to me. Like I mostly watch fucking Double Toasted. So.
Double Toasted.
Yeah, and I don't agree with half they say, but I just enjoy the show more.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when you watch a show and you agree with everything they say, I think that's kind of boring.
Right. I mean? I liked Campio when Schnepp was on. Oh, okay. Just because when you have Schnepp and those guys, like God rest his soul, fucking rest in peace, man. I just like when people are having like real conversations and not. I don't like Entertainment Tonight style fucking news bites. Mm-hmm. So I can listen to people talk about shit I don't agree with, so long as it's a real conversation. And I'm not just having like, now we got to get on to this news. And what about that news bit? And there's 5 minutes on that and 5 minutes on that. I don't, it's not my deal.
We'll have to.
The cameo thing is pretty. If that's what you're thinking, I'm referencing, bro. It's pretty just fucking obvious. Let's listen to all you people. That's from doing this show. You know what I mean? Like every time we've talked about a new series, is this character going to show up? Is Qui-Gon going to appear? Is Palpatine going to appear? Is Vader going to appear? It's like, fucking stop. It really fucking got on my nerves before Andor came out, when everyone's like, is Palpatine? Is Vader? I'm like, I don't want none of those fuckers in there. You know, like just leave them out.
Yeah, I mean, unless they should be there.
Yeah.
Unless they, unless it should be there. I mean, it's like if you are setting something on Tatooine and you need a big old crime boss, why not do Jabba the Hutt if it should be Jabba the Hutt? But otherwise, don't break your neck to make it.
Not really, because on Boba Fett, those 2 Hutts, I don't know who they were. They were pretty good. They just never came back.
Never returned.
What was the point of that? I was like, are they behind? Are they going to keep sending dudes? Like, no. Yeah. There's a great visual effect we never use again. Like, that is the weirdest. That's one of the weirdest flexes I've ever seen. Like,
well, I mean,
like that? We're not doing it.
That is the good thing about Book of Boba Fett is it introduced them. They exist. They will come back. They will show up in Mando or something, and we got them now. So I think that's the good thing. That's
the like, Inception comment. No, I just watched Inception with my wife 2 nights ago, so that's just synchronicity. So did he say that? Okay, Dunkirk. Dunkirk didn't get a sequel. Like, I don't fucking know. Let me think of a million movies I've seen in the last. Okay, what hasn't gotten a sequel? Drive. Love Drive. Not watching Drive ever again. You know, fucking one of my favorite movies of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption never got a sequel. Guess it sucks. Rounders never got a sequel. Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay if they don't make sequels to some things, or if stories are just standalone. I mean, that's some things is
like
better.
The Matrix. Matrix never got a sequel. You know, I mean that movie's perfect, right? Thank God they just left that one alone.
They need to get on Neuromancer, man. If they made Neuromancer into a film, it has good sequels as well, and The Matrix is just all over the place and not very good in totality. So I think they should. I think they should do Neuromancer.
Who's gonna execute that one, Jason? Come on.
It has space.
Come on. No one's executing
Rastafarians in a ship called the Marcus Garvey. It's fucking genius.
Hey man, Predator has some cool Rastafarians as well, but it doesn't exactly.
Like, you see people try and take from Neuromancer all the time, and they just do it sort of half-assed. But if you guys are looking for a book to read and never read Neuromancer, like cyberpunk stuff, it's the grandfather of it all, and it's really good. Like really
it's like when someone 40 years 30 years ago recommended Snow Crash to me, and I'm like, I'm reading it, I'm like, no one's gonna make this. Who's gonna execute that as a film?
That should, if they were to ever try, it would need to be like a fucking miniseries, right?
I guess, man. Some of those things they're so literary in their description that I don't know how you visually showcase. You know what I mean? Like, you can put stuff in front of the screen that doesn't mean the audience can connect the dots. You know,
like it's Don DeLillo's White Noise. Love that book. I hated that movie. For the most part. It's on Netflix. You can watch it right now. It's it doesn't work. Yeah. I feel like you're watching like 3 different movies all at once. It's very kind of confusing. Not like because of what's going on in it, just because it has tonal issues and pacing issues. And that's one where I was just like, oh yeah, I didn't think you could really do that as a film, and that proved that you shouldn't do it as a film. But anyways, but we'll have to see what those guys are doing. Those the Pikachu guys, where does it end up shaking out? Is it anything? I don't know. Probably not. Will it come out if it's a movie? Probably not. And if
it was a film, wouldn't it be with their story group and we wouldn't be hearing about it? Like somehow, like this probably got picked up because of an agent or something.
It sounds like they made a big deal between Disney and Lucasfilm, and it's for like multiple things. And so I don't know, but when I hear that, it makes me think it's definitely not a film.
Right.
Like, I feel like if you were to bring someone on, like you'd be like, we want you to make a Star Wars movie. That's what we're talking about. We don't want you to make a Star Wars movie and do our fucking, live action Snow White television show and cartoon. Like, they don't want that. I wouldn't think. So I'm betting on it being a cartoon series and a live action show at the most. I feel like it's not a movie, but I don't know. I mean, that's just my estimation, and anybody else's guess is as good as mine. So, but also,
I feel if it was a film, they'd be dealing with their own internal story group at the moment. Like, I just don't see.
Well, also, like even though it doesn't mean that yet they would make it. It doesn't mean it's going to get made either.
Right.
Like just because they
right.
No, but it's like that's the thing is, it's like, when you call out a bunch of contractors to like do a job at your house, you take the bids. Turning in a script is sort of like a bid on a job happening. Just because you turn in the script doesn't mean they're going to accept it and pay you and fund it and do it.
Well, Macquarie he did an interview with the Light the Fuse podcast about Jack Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I recommend everyone listen. It's a 2 or 3 part bit interview, 30 minutes. They broke it into 30 minutes each. But in one of them, he gets into when he got the Reacher gig, he also got the Wolverine that Aronofsky was making, right? And this is when Aronofsky was making Wolverine, and he's like, "Look, they basically hate me on X-Men because when that first movie went down." He got blamed for. He's like, I got blamed for a lot of things that I didn't do. I'm not saying who, like Bryan Singer blamed him for all of Bryan Singer's fucking bullshit. That's basically what I read into it, right?
It was like, he was like, what? All of these boys are too old.
But what he said was, he's like, I was talking to my agent about it. He's like, just write the fucking thing. You're not gonna. He's like, well, just ask for too much money. He's like, no, you're gonna finish it, because you agreed to do this shit. You're not gonna fucking be that guy. But realize that they're never going to use a thing you write, just the way those movies are made. So he's just write the fucking thing you want to see because they're never going to make it anyway, even though they hired him to do it. And he wrote a Wolverine script based off the Miller and Claremont Ninja storyline with Wolverine. And he's like, literally not a single bit of that is in the final. Nothing. There's like one reporter on a screen somewhere.
Claremont? Who wrote
Chris Claremont.
Who wrote the best Willow sequel, even though it was awful.
And so he goes, when they wanted to give him story credit on the movie that was produced. And he said, no, give it to Claremont and Miller because they're the ones who wrote the comic. I just wrote the fuck, he even wrote to the WGA about it. He's like, I'm going to, the writers go about it. And he's like, well, they don't consider comic books novels. So they don't do that. Like, that's the fucking world we live in. Right. So it's like, yeah. So like,
that's bad.
It's just, I know it's all fucked up, but that's why I said, like, they can get this gig and write the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But if Macquarie at that point, even in his career, can't get it on screen, I don't know. I mean, it's a miracle anything gets made. Quite frankly, guys, that's why I'm not as critical. Like, I know you go, oh, Rob's on a rant. As a person watching things, I'm rarely super critical of shit. I'll just be like, oh, well, that was a waste of my time. Move on. Because it's so fucking hard to get anything in front of you. It's so hard to get it across the table into your hands as a finished product that I do respect the amount of effort it took. What bugs me is when you have all the money and the time in the world and the leadership is just getting in the way of that being a success. That's when I get I'm really big on top-down leadership. So when I see CEOs, when I see, managers on set, you know what I mean? Like, just getting in the way of creativity, I want to throw the flamethrower at their fucking feet. You know what I mean? Like, I get raked because I'm like, it's so fucking hard. Why are you making this
shit out of that set when you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, why get in the way of that shit, man? What are you doing?
Yeah. As a true asked, was there any droid story talk? I speculated that earlier today on Santa's show. I was like, what if a droid story wasn't going well? What if those guys were brought in and that's what they're going to fix up? What if they're, or didn't go well or didn't get started or whatever? What's going on there with it? Maybe they're the ones, because we still don't know who's writing and directing it. We just know it's a collaboration with ILM X Labs. That's all we know. So, maybe they're being brought in to refine that or fix that up. And then that's still a good guess. That's still a better guess than most guesses, I'd say. But we still don't know. I mean, for all we know, like that's like in the can and being like fucking just waiting to come out, or it's being switched around or changed or whatever, because it's just like all mocap based as far as we know. So we'll have to see, though. We'll have to see like what happens. I imagine at Celebration, that's where we will learn that. And just to clarify something from yesterday, I am not saying anybody is wrong about anything about what's going to be at Celebration. I'm saying if you take something that's going to be an announcement for Celebration and you think it should be a 10, put it down to about a 4, and that's what they'll give you.
Yeah. I feel that way about anything I draw. Like, like in my head, I'm like, this is gonna be the greatest. And then I'm like, I'm as long as you get a B-, you're good to go. Matter of fact, even a C is pretty good. I liken it to video game reviews. My favorite games would always get rated like a C back in the day in the 90s. Like, I love Pilot Wings 64. That's the game I played. I played it even more than Mario 64. Every Pilot Wings game that came out got a C. Like years later, people are like, I love those games. Not when they came out. You guys go back, you'll see it's all like a C. This is slow. The graphics, but there's something, So I always figure as long as you aim for that, like you put in your best effort, but if you end up with a C, fuck, better than an F. You know what I mean? Like someone might love this. It might be an A to like 30 people, because you can't to gun for a fucking A. Generally means you're afraid to make decisions because you're trying to make all the perfect decisions. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be in a position where you're trying to like every ingredient that goes in this pasta is the perfect ingredient. Like, that's not how it works. Like,
Yeah. No. And I mean, it's there's like so many things in terms of like a release and what else is out and how something connects and what doesn't, what gets swept under the rug and that kind of shit too. But when it comes to that droid story project, they've been really quiet on it. And like Bespin had a story a while ago about something that was going on at Pinewood, and I really do think that was a droid story and what they were. But I'm curious if what they were doing were tests for a droid story or something early in it, and then maybe it just maybe it's stalled out, or maybe they're like working out some new tech for it to make this thing happen, because it's there's something about it that is different than anything that they've ever done before. So maybe that's just another reason why it's taken a long as time.
The question is whether it will be noticeably different to an audience or if it's just like a technical thing that they're doing that you can't. The end result is you can't really tell the difference, but for them it's a big deal kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
But all right. Well, we did 118 minutes. I think we did a show today. I'm gonna upload this shit to the podcast. Did network. We did.
Is it all right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. And thank you to everybody
for
being a channel member. Thank you for the hundreds of thousands of dollars in super chats today. I appreciate it.
I told you, Jason. That's what happens. You engage with those people. If they don't pay you, then what's it worth? What's it worth, Jason?
I like them though. I like them. They're my Star Wars buds. They're my Star Wars buds.
That's how you get in trouble, Jason. Liking people.
They have to be like, Jason, do you think they're gonna make a Fast and the Furious with Star Wars? I have to be like, I don't know, maybe. And then
Jason, when is Luke going to appear in Mando Season 4? Like, specifically episode 2 at the 13-minute mark.
What if I told you Luke Skywalker wears his black, his black costume that he wears from Return of the Jedi, but he has like a pink Speedo on now? What if I told you that? Would you believe it?
Yeah, I think Luke Skywalker wears underoos. Fight me. Fight me. Prove me wrong. I think he does.
Did he show? Oh,
I think he does.
All right. Thank you. Wait, did KG actually give me a dollar? Thank you, KG. You're too nice.
Thanks, KG.
You know what? I don't
You get 10% of that dollar after YouTube gets its cut. Like,
thank you, KG.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're taking.
but make sure you leave a comment, and we'll read it, and maybe it will inspire discussion on the show. So I appreciate when people do, and I appreciate everybody who was in the chat today and hanging out with us, like always. And we'll be back tomorrow at probably 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think my kids are having an early day tomorrow, so I don't know. I'll figure it out, but I'll let you know tomorrow. But anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Say bye, Rob.
Bye, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships. Hey!